All right, everybody. It's Bruce here, KB45 Modern Warrior. So, got James Auth here today, a friend of mine. He's got a new ministry going, and it's just doing really well. And so, this morning I was talking to him about maybe we should do something together, and had a few thoughts, and then he just took off with it. So I'm gonna just introduce him and let him talk for a little bit here. So.
Hey guys, my name's James Auth. I am the director and founder of New Tomorrows Foundation. We have two goals. We want to preach the gospel of Jesus, and then we also want to help addicts in recovery get their second chance. If you want to find out more, you can go to newtomorrowsfoundation.org. You can find my story and what we're trying to do there. With that being said, this morning Bruce sent me a text saying he wanted to do something. I asked him what ideas he had, and he had mentioned sowing seed with the sweet corn harvest coming up, and kind of in those few moments afterwards, the Lord just really spoke to me. It's the parable of the sower is what always comes to mind. And in that parable, there's four types of ground that he sows on, right? But only one type of ground actually yields a crop.
Yeah, there's only one fertile soil.
One fertile soil.
Yeah, it's not a shallow soil, it's a deep soil, so, nothing burns up and it's got nourishment. And so, anyway, I was talking about how we're getting ready to start planting. It's that season, and then I was thinking about how everybody loves sweet corn harvest season. Not just sweet corn, because everybody loves all the produce all year, but I was really thinking about, when sweet corn comes on, that first batch, when you can go out there and, the night that it's ready. And for those of you that know this, then you know what I'm talking about. But you can smell it, it has turned, it's perfect, and the wildlife can smell it too, and they'll come in and steal it from you before you can harvest it. So there might be a little story in there too that we can work on later. But James wanted to back up some, and he's like, hey, what about making, preparing the soil so it will actually grow something rather than just finding the fertile soil, right?
Right. So that comes basically to the point is you have all these different types of soil, but only one of them is growing. So we have to go, any gardener and any farmer knows that you have to prepare your soil. You need good soil if you're going to plant your crops. And so indirectly, we are called to go ahead and fertilize the soil, pack with nutrients and do what has to be done so it can be sown into. So the question is, how do we do that? And I think as we're supposed to be imitators of Christ, that we are to emulate what he's done, right? And Christ loved people. He loved the sinners. He loved the bad people. He sat down and ate dinner with them. And to say that he didn't call out their sin would be a lie.
Right.
I think he spoke directly to their sin.
Yeah,
At the
so
wells.
he spoke in truth.
He did speak in
from
truth.
a moral standard of truth is truth. He spoke in truth, yeah.
Right, but he prepared their hearts, right? He prepared that soil so he could sow the seed. Now, whether we're the ones who's actually going to sow the seed or not, we always have to be preparing the soil underneath our feet for that.
Yeah, so an example of that, and we've been talking about that a lot lately, is that entering into other people's world, not changing who we are, but meeting them where they're at. And so if you want to sow seed and you want to preach the good news, as they say, if the body of people have already made the ground stony and hard, then it's not going to take. There's nothing. So I think when we back up, we should be living our lives in a way that makes people open to seeing what our faith is and what it looks like when we live it out, rather than poisoning the well against it, right? Because if you have a poisoned well, you can't draw from it. So
Right, and if we're trying to sow seed on ground that won't take,
right.
or we're just throwing it out there to be dismissed, then we're doing ourselves and the Lord an injustice. So we have to take that time to do the work and invest in these people. And I truly feel that not enough people are investing. I know a pastor friend of mine says we're to make disciples, not converts. And I think we spend more time trying to convert people rather than disciple them. And so we're called to make this investment into people, which is an investment of our time, our resources, and our love and our hearts. And so we have to make the step to do that. And we at New Tomorrow's Foundation have been doing that. We've been working with some guys in a local rehab. We've been just pouring into them. And as they're getting out now, we have gentlemen coming to our Bible study on Tuesday.
Yep. So James has been doing it long enough. There's some guys that are actually coming out of the program, and they're looking for, they're looking for kind of a safe place, at least where they're not going to be in danger of, studying. They're looking for a place where they can be with other people and like-minded, believers. And, we were talking earlier about the soil. Like, part of the soil, like if you want to talk about discipleship, is after the seed comes up and the crop's growing, you have to weed your garden.
Right.
So you don't want weeds in your garden.
Exactly. I know both of our wives garden, and as their gardening season goes, they are daily pulling out the weeds that are in their garden. And I know you had mentioned earlier that weeds soak up the nutrients and what the plants need
they pull the water out of the soil, all sorts of bad things.
So, yeah, if we're not making that investment to go out there daily and pull the weeds out of the garden that we're tending, then it's going to do us no good, because they're going to wither and die.
Yeah. So that's just so we're kind of approaching it from looking at people who we want to reach, but cultivating the soil works in your daily walk if you're already a believer. Like, do you get up and recognize that all of this creation, that it just spins on because God wills it, and how blessed you are to have that day,
Yeah. I lost my thought, but
that's okay.
I do that a lot.
We've had a lot of thoughts today. We're just trying to get them down into a small frame. So on that, we're going to pick it up again later if you guys want to watch the longer version. But right now, we just wanted to talk about, getting out there and nourishing the soil.
Yeah.
Like, cultivate the soil. If you got to compost the soil, if you got to water the soil because it's been a drought, just understand your soil.
Yeah.
And see what it needs before you even seed.
Yeah.
And that could be you personally, right? Like me and you, whatever. Like, we could be the soil, not the sower, right?
Right.
Like, how does that look? Like, there's all kinds of things there. So.
People are gonna sow the seed, but is the soil ready for the seed?
Right.
And so we want to take that approach. Let's prepare the soil for the seed. We want to plant the seed, and we do sow the seeds, but even if it's not us, if the right seed is sown, we want to have that soil prepared to accept it.
Right. We want that 100-fold to come in. We don't, if I grow corn, I want to grow it like in Iowa or Indiana where the soil's like 6 foot thick,
Right.
I don't want to grow it in Kansas, but you know what? We're going to deal with the cards we're dealt, so, we can grow other things. So.
Wheat.
Yeah, we used to be the wheat state, sunflower state, wheat state. We've been passed up in all those, so they're growing hemp next door.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know, but anyway, not here next door, but
we're 4 miles from the border. That's what.
Yes. Anyway, we won't get into all that, but keep the weeds out of your life. All right, so we'll just cut it off there. You guys, hope if you like this, you have a blessed day. Again, one more time, James's ministry is
newtomorrowsfoundation.org.
Yep, and he's wearing the hat there, so if you're local to the southern metro Kansas City area in Kansas, Authentic Plumbing. He's a one-man show, so don't overwhelm him, but he does good work. So talk to you guys later.